Joining us now, Patrice Leon-Muka, Senior Policy Analyst at the Independent Women's Forum and Democratic Strategist and Pluralism Project founder, Hamza Khan. Hamza, I'll start with you. What do you expect as these hundreds of folks hit the border here? What do you see happening?
First of all, good morning, Jerry. Thank you for having me on. I can tell you right now that 200 people isn't that many people at our border, so we have to clarify that. In the spring of 2014, we had as many as 200,000 people trying to enter the United States through that border. I'm not sure why President Trump has found so much time to go after these folks who are at our border right now. Every single day in the United States, 46 young people are shot by guns, and he hasn't found a solution to that. Right. So why is he going after kids?
So, you know, ultimately we could have more than 200 or more than 150, obviously. Patrice, to you, I want you to respond to the president's tweet from yesterday afternoon. He said this: despite the Democrat-inspired new laws on sanctuary cities and the border being so bad and one-sided, I've instructed the Secretary of Homeland Security not to let these large caravans of people into our country. It's a disgrace. We're the only country in the world so naive. Wall. So as this first wave hits the border, what do you expect to see happen? The president has got the National Guard out. Could we have some kind of conflict? What do you see happening?
I don't think there'll be conflict, but it's definitely drawing attention to the fact that we want to ensure people can come here through legitimate means and not cross our borders illegally and seek asylum. There's no guarantee these people will get the asylum that they're seeking. And you know what? It's a privilege to come to this country, not a right. And there are very good reasons, security reasons, for ensuring that, you know, that among them are not people who have nefarious purposes.
Right. And of course, if they do come in and we do give them asylum, we have to give them legal protection and a right to due process. I apologize for cutting you off, Hamza. We've got like 3 topics to get through here. We don't have a lot of time. The travel ban, as we've talked about so much, SCOTUS, the Supreme Court, talking about possibly allowing this to go forward. Hamza, what do you say to this? This is a critically important part of the president's international policy. Does the Supreme Court have it right here?
The Supreme Court hasn't made a decision yet. We shouldn't be prejudging what the court's going to do, but let's get one thing clear. Dozens of courts across this country have upheld the challenges to the Muslim ban 3.0, as we're calling it, in the mainstream media and amongst everyday people. I don't think this is going to have a shot. If the Supreme Court were to rule against the ban, which is more than likely, if you ask me, they'd be upholding the U.S. Constitution and First Amendment.
Patrice, you say?
I think when we look at some of the questions that were asked and some of the comments, including from Justice Alito, who said, you know what, only 8% of Muslim countries would be impacted by this. So this is not necessarily a discriminatory policy, but it is ensuring that the United States is able to secure their borders. Let me just finish, and let me just say that Donald Trump has made it clear since the very beginning that he wanted to have a Muslim ban. He said it on the campaign trail. That's where a lot of the courts have been basing their commentary.
And let me just finish your thought, Hamza.
And let me just jump in and say that the justices are not going to be holding the president's tweets or his campaign rhetoric as official policy. They're making that clear. They're looking specifically at the policy as they should.
Let's go on to this last topic, and that's DACA. As we know, Bush-appointed judge yesterday becomes the 3rd judge to rescind DACA, to say it was unlawful, it was a mistake, and that we must set aside we must use these applications. Hamza, to you, your thoughts?
These are Americans without papers. I'm glad to see that a court is stepping up and protecting their rights, and I'm glad to see that the United States of America is open for everyone to come here from across the country. One real quick thought before we finish up here. In my home state of Maryland, we have a woman named Krish Vignarajah running for governor, who happens to be the daughter of war refugees who came here from Sri Lanka and was a former public policy advisor to First Lady Michelle Obama. We should be proud of having people like that come to the United States.
Your thoughts?
Yeah. You know, I'm proud to be an immigrant, and I'm proud of all the immigrants who come to this country legally. You know, for this DACA program, I think we do need to come to some sort of conclusion with it. It's amazing that Congress, under President Obama, was not able, when they had a Democratic leadership and majority, to be able to find a legislative solution to this. So we actually need a legislative solution, not just dealing with every single administration changing it.
As soon as we Democrats take back the Congress, things will be great.
Thank you so much for both of you coming on today.
Thank you so much, Sherry.
A lot of information there, a lot of conversation there. Thank you so much, Patrice.
Thanks, Sherry. Thanks, Cheryl.
Thank you.